It's about that time.
Pre-record on my count. 7, 6, 5, 4. Here we go, Roger.
With the coach, Mickey Clayton on INSiiGHTS. Two eyes in the middle. INSiiGHTS, where we always talk the talk.
Testing.
Got you.
You got me?
I do.
What'd you do?
Went to external speakers and was able to pick you up then.
Okay.
And you hear me good now?
I hear you. I've always heard you good.
Say that wasn't a problem, huh? It was that I couldn't hear you. Oh man, wow. Thanks for being patient there.
Yeah, it's all good, bro.
That's all good. Well, I'm glad it was with my brother and not with somebody else spending all this time trying to get it through. But yeah, we gonna go on and get this thing started now. Hold on. Put your thumb up. Let me know.
INSiiGHT Sports Talk.
1, 2, talk that talk.
INSiiGHT Sports Talk. Traveling the country for the biggest stories in collegiate sports. Bringing you the news that will impact every college athlete in America. From the Ivy League to the SWAC, Big Sky to the Big Ten, Notre Dame, FAMU, Miami or Maine. No university is too big, no college too small. We tell it all.
Talk that talk.
INSiiGHT Sports Talk with your hosts, the coach, Mickey Clayton and Clayton Smith. They're bringing you insight on all the latest stories from all the biggest names in collegiate sports. Join us for the next 60 minutes for INSiiGHT Sports Talk. The sports talk show, the sports talk show of a different kind.
Welcome to INSiiGHTS. And this is your host, Mickey Clayton, the coach. And boy, it took forever to get this modern technology straight. If you've been listening, you've heard us come on, go off, come on, go off, come on. And now I think we finally got it right. This special edition with Kevin, and we're calling this Two Guys from Cleveland. Kev, is it crazy in Cleveland now or what?
Mick, it's just crazy all kind of ways with the Browns and what's going on with them, and then last night with what happened with the Cavaliers. But it's all good though.
You think it's all good?
Oh, absolutely. I think it's all good.
How do you figure this is all good?
Okay, where you want to start?
Let's start with the new coach, Tyronn Lue, and what really happened with them in Cleveland, because I got my own theory.
Well, as you know, via a conversation we had after Golden State embarrassed the Cavaliers and the entire city of Cleveland, they embarrassed the Cavaliers so bad that the Browns actually looked bad. All the teams in Cleveland were embarrassed by that shellacking.
Johnny Manziel wasn't. He was still with a wig on and glasses and everything somewhere else. He probably didn't know the game was going on. So Johnny Manziel wasn't embarrassed.
Yeah, well, have we found Johnny Manziel since the end of the season?
Somebody said they saw him at a package store.
Okay, all right. Well, that's about right.
That's about right.
So after that beatdown, which it was embarrassing. You don't show up against the world champions and not show up, if that makes any sense.
No, the way they played didn't make any sense.
You're right. So my take on it was that I would have fired David Blatt right after that game.
Why would you have fired David Blatt?
Well, I would have fired him because the owner has invested millions of dollars in overages in his payroll to be able to provide the coaching staff and the general manager all the players that they wanted, any player that they wanted. Hell, they're paying $2 million in taxes for the 15th man on the team, and that was just to pick up a $900,000 contract, and they're paying $2 or $3 million in taxes. So, given that they have all the players that they need, and the way that they have played.
Stop.
Yeah.
Let's stop right there. Do you think that's what they think? Kevin Love is what they need?
I think the coach has not figured out how to use Kevin Love, so therefore he had to be fired.
Who can figure out how to use him the way he's playing? Let me back up. Before you get speechless, let's back up. They had a heck of a run last year without Kyrie and Kevin. Let me ask a question. Were they able to make that run because they didn't have them? The whole complexion of the team changed when you take two of your two weakest starters defensively, take them out, and you put in two defensive players, which made all the difference in the way you play in the playoffs. Kevin Love is horrendous on defense. And then he talks about getting shots. You see the games. He gets looks. You can hit the shot better than that, and your game is go to the hole.
I think you biased.
Yes, I am. I'm biased against guys who not delivering.
Yeah, I think you just don't like Kevin Love.
What has Kevin done to prove to me that he could play? You're a Kevin Love fan. You're the one who told me what a great move it was when we got him. Also the one told me it was a great move when we got Johnny Manziel, too.
We're talking basketball right now.
Yeah, but we talking about your assessment of talent. So I'm showing you right. I'm just trying to show you. You're the one who's saying I'm biased. And I am.
I'm sorry.
Even Kevin LeBron looks at him like, what in the damn hell are you doing now?
I think it's the coach.
Kev.
Okay.
I'm not a David Blatt fan, but I don't think that Kevin Love helped him. And I think that when he got looks, he didn't knock down shots. Now it's because Kyrie is back, so he doesn't get enough shots. If you 1 for 9, the coach is supposed to think you're going to get better if you go 2 for 18 because you got more shots. He's going to shoot us out of games.
I'm sorry, but your argument was that Cleveland didn't need Kyrie or Kevin Love.
My argument was that they are our two weakest defenders. I think Kyrie, you could hide one. If I had to pick one to hide on defense, I'd rather it be Kyrie. But if you have a 4 and a point guard that aren't defending, then you're in trouble. Kyrie is still young. I've seen flashes last year when Kyrie was well and was much better defensively than even anything we've seen this year. And then he gave up on it. But he has the ability to do it.
So, okay, so what metric would you like to use? Wins and losses? I mean, what are you basing this opinion on?
If you go wins and losses, you take the best teams
They're
in the West.
33-3.
We're 0-3.
Kyrie,
0-3,
Love,
Kev, against the best teams.
Kevin Love, Kyrie, and LeBron are 33-3 when they play together.
0-3 against the best in the West.
Yeah. I totally disagree. I think it's the coach.
What didn't you just? So it was
the coach's responsibility to figure out a way to utilize all of his players. Well, let's get off of those three, because the question is, you were asking whether or not I thought the move was a good move, and I don't know if you have been reading some of the materials that have been written about how David Blatt has gotten in the huddles and he just completely froze trying to draw up plays. And assistant coaches had to take over. Did you read that?
Yeah, he nutted up.
Okay, but did you read that?
Yeah, and heard it.
So how much, as a former coach, as a former great player in high school and college, how would you respond to a coach who absolutely had no idea what was doing in crunch time, and the assistant coach had to snatch the clipboard from him and shove him out the way to draw up a play in crunch time? How much respect would you have for your coach if that was the case?
Well, when I saw that happen with a particular person that I know, we had to help him from the stands to make the right call. Clater. We had to step up and try to help. Now, understand, Dave Blatt is not blameless in this. I'm not a Dave Blatt fan. Okay, But I'm just looking at the whole situation. And I guess the person out of all of it I respect the most is Griffin.
Yeah, did you see the press conference?
Yeah, I like how he handled the press conference.
Yeah. Did you hear Tyronn Lue today?
I did not hear Tyrone.
Okay. A couple things. They asked him, why do you think it'll be different with you? Tyronn Lue said, if it's just about a coaching change, it won't be different with me. You can bring Phil Jackson in here, and unless the team does something significantly different, then it won't matter who the coach is. What I intend on doing is making some significant changes. What are some of those changes? He says, one, we stand around with the basketball. I'm not going to tolerate that. Secondly, from a pace standpoint, he said our pace is terrible. He said we're going to pick up the pace. And thirdly, I'm playing 10 players. I will add Mo Williams to the mix. When Kyrie came back, Mo was averaging 14 points a game. Mo has not played 14 minutes since Kyrie has come back. He said he's going to go with some different lineups. He's going to utilize the bench more, which that was also part of what the players were talking about. The veterans players were talking about playing time and the rotation. They said they had no idea coming into the gym each night into the arena who was going to play and how many minutes outside of starting five. You know, Coach, you can't.
I won't argue that. I mean, I know good and darn well we didn't sign Mo Williams to sit behind Matthew Dellavedova, and that's what we did.
And the rookie.
You were. I thought you might have minimized it because I thought he was around 15, 16 points a game.
He was.
Playing well.
He was.
And with him not playing those games, it dropped his average down. But he was doing a decent job. And if you saw Golden State and the better teams, they still torched Dellavedova. I mean, I like him. He's gotten better than what he was. But he still shouldn't be getting the minutes that he got. Now, I can't question. Again, I'm not a Blatt fan. I'm just really upset that we have players who make the amount of money that some of them make, and they haven't delivered yet. Varajo, they were saying that he wasn't well. Varajo, and all of that is hard coming back from the Achilles. It might be. I mean, that's a difficult one to come back. I mean, he was never athletic to begin with. He just got by on heart, grit, flopping, and giving us everything that he had. Did it mean that he could get 5 minutes a half and rest somebody? Oh, yeah, no question. No question. Now, last year we went to a tournament, and he shortened his bench. Kev, I saw your boy play a couple times when they played him. Your wingman is not with us this year. And I saw LeBron stop in one game and just look at him because I saw him miss 2 wide-open layups. And LeBron was like, what in the hell? I mean, so him not playing didn't really bother me because he hadn't proven that he could play to me down crunch time. But I like, if he says he's going to play 10, I think we have at least 10 that can go. 10. Yeah.
At least 10. And what he said, as a former NBA player, he recognizes that as long as you talk to the players and tell them what's going on, that they would appreciate and respect that even more. And he said, as a former player, as a player that used to ride the bench, and he named the coaches that would come over to him and say, look, Ty, tonight you probably won't get any time, but be ready just in case. He said that we respect that, but to walk in the arena and be ready and pumped up for the game, and you don't play for maybe 3 or 4 games, and then you get put in, he said that is what he's going to change.
Okay, that makes sense. But still, Kevin, the players hold some responsibility. Like I say, you're a Kevin Love fan. I'm not. I want to be. I think he rebounds exceptionally well. Was he not used properly? Perhaps not, because all I've heard was he likes to go off the elbow. They got to put him in positions that he used to play. But I saw him against Golden State. He was down in the block. And then he makes the comment after the game that we discussed that was the illuminating verbal sequence that told me explosions were coming when they interviewed him and told him, you need to talk to our leader over there, LeBron. He's the leader of the team. Go talk to him. He called LeBron out. Now, their relationship Kev, you don't have to be best friends to roll together. You know, you don't have to be. It helps, but you don't have to be best friends to roll together. But you've seen the look of frustration on his face with Mozgov, who is not the same player that he was last year. You know, they say he's hurt and he's coming back. We haven't been the same because we've been hurt. And when guys get hurt, like Kyrie was hurt, I mean, that's a rough injury to come back from. So no, he's not the same. Kevin Love is still coming back, but he started off well the first part of the season. Now he's gone in the tank again.
So as a coach, whose responsibility, if I start off well and everything is rolling for 10, 15 games, some of the dynamics change, which now he's back to being more of a spot-up shooter because they've taken him, since Kyrie is back, they've cleared out the post. And what Blatt did, Blatt basically had 5 wing players in there, or at least 5 perimeter players when Kyrie was in. They started off with Tristan Thompson, and then they brought Mozgov. Well, Mozgov is going to stay on the post or down low. So isn't it the coach's responsibility to run some different sets that would have your players in positions in their better position? So Kevin Love would tell you he's not a spot-up three-point shooter. He can shoot threes, but that's not what he wants to do.
Okay, tell me this. How do you know if he's not calling the plays and that they're running their own? They start off running plays, and they go back to what they're comfortable with running isolation. They'll tell you quickly LeBron pretty much calls the plays that LeBron wants to run.
Which would suggest, again, the coach had to go because they didn't respect it.
But every coach is gone. We're on a coach a year. We thought the Browns were firing coaches quickly. The Cavaliers have them beat. We had a coach a year. The only coach that stood up to him is well documented is Pat Riley. There's countless stories. You deal in the NBA, me too, friends and everything. You get information, both being connected. They go to New Orleans. LeBron want to hang out. Chris Paul didn't have it. That was his boy. Pat Riley's like, no, the plane scheduled to leave. If you rolling with the team, you rolling with us. Get on the plane, we going. They were upset because they didn't have his boys didn't have access to Miami like they did in Cleveland. They always felt like Cleveland enabled LeBron because he never had to answer to anybody because they were always afraid he was going to leave. That's a hard job for a coach to be in. What Tyronn
Lue said was he already went to LeBron and told LeBron, look, I'm not gonna baby you. Mm-hmm. And that's what he said. He told him. He said, look, I am going to hold you accountable for your play and your attitude on the court, period. That's what he said in the press. You need to see the press conference.
Now,
and he said,
Kev, anybody can say anything.
But David Blatt never said that.
Now you got a point there.
David Blatt was like, this is the greatest player in the world. I really like coaching him.
He liked when LeBron let him coach him. I think he made a comment, something like that.
Right. And see, here's why I think the moves are good. I appreciate the fact that this is a championship organization, meaning we are not going to tolerate anything less than that. So David Griffin, he was clear. And by him saying, I'm in the locker room, I've been around locker rooms, I'm feeling a culture that is this is nothing like we had last year. So the fact that they made a change and the ownership is like, we don't care about public opinion. As much money as we've invested in this team, we want to win a championship. Now, as we talked about the Browns, it's the same way to me with the Browns. Hey, the owner didn't get it right. He hadn't gotten it right yet, but he now is doing something completely different.
They say he ain't gotten it right yet.
And therefore, they're serious about, we want to put a winning product on the court or on the field. I respect that.
Now we haven't even gone to the Browns yet, but in terms of dealing with the Cavaliers, David Griffin just made a whole lot of sense to me, and I appreciate his stance. Just like you said, he said, "I'm in the locker room. I'm around. I know what's going on." Did LeBron have something to do with it? Yeah, they kind of ran it by him. I mean, they kind of ran it, Brian. But LeBron was trying to remove his fingerprints from the guillotine. You know, he was trying, and he's been trying to remove his fingers from it for a while. I mean, this has to have been something that the guys knew, because most people close to the organization had been hearing the rumors for a while. Blatt, I mean, he had this, they said if he wanted to run for mayor or governor, president back in Israel, that he'd be a landslide winner. You know,
Right.
so one of the telling tales was when they talked about last year when he won his first game and the guys jumped on him and gave him the game ball and, you know, making a real big deal out of it. And they said he got angry with them, told them that he was not a rookie coach, that he had
Right.
won thousands of games.
Right.
You know, so his adjustment over here, his perception of himself over here was a little different. I'm not upset he's gone. It's just that now it's some people that, for me, still have to step up and play. And LeBron is going to be LeBron. At the end of the day, LeBron's going to do what he's on a mission. You know, they don't like it. You know, Magic got Paul Westhead fired. Michael Jordan got Doug Collins
fired. Right.
You know, so, I mean, it's happened before. That part of it doesn't bother me. I just need Kevin Love to play better. And I need Teron to understand that he was the guy that everybody went to when he was the assistant coach. It's not going to be the same now that he's calling the shots.
Right. So two things. Did you see, I thought I forwarded to you, did you see the Brendan Haywood?
I heard it live the first time yesterday.
Okay.
But I also heard his story change just a little bit as it was told in subsequent interviews. But I heard it live the first time, which I thought was a heck of a candid interview for him to say. And you could hear him trying to make sure that he chose his words correctly.
Right, right. So with that, as Brendan Haywood was clear around, look, the players didn't respect him.
Yeah, that's what he said.
And he said, no, it wasn't even about all LeBron. LeBron didn't really do what he wanted to do because they were trying to say, was that LeBron's team? And this was a teammate of his. Mm-hmm. So that's one thing. The second has to do with, in my opinion, I think the Cavaliers at this point are going to absolutely go on a tear because a lot of the players were saying all these things. This came from the players, and then their attitude showed. So one of the things that came up, and I don't know if you heard this or not, but they were talking about Kevin. They said when the meeting was called that several of the players went into the meeting thinking that they were going to be told Kevin Love was traded. So they weren't going in thinking that Blatt was being fired. They were going in thinking Kevin Love was traded.
Do you know why? Your coach had told some friends of his in Israel that it was going to be Kevin Love or him.
Or him. Yep. And guess what? He was right.
Say he told the truth, huh?
Told the truth.
Kevin Love didn't like him and wouldn't play for him. You have to remember now, this is the same coach that had Kevin Love sitting in the fourth quarter. He didn't play the fourth quarter.
And this is the same coach that decided the best way to beat Golden State is to play Golden State's kind of ball in the finals and let's go small ball when the advantage, when we won 2 out of the first 3 games and had Golden State on the ropes, was having them play our style of ball.
Right.
Golden State changed their lineup, and we decided to change their lineup. And, Coach, at what point do you go away from your strengths when you're leading?
Back like Romeo Crennel used to do. When people decided they wanted to get the best defensive players out the game or change alignment, they would change the offensive players in, and he would change his defense to match them, and that was what they wanted. And I know exactly what you're saying. Detroit beat Golden State earlier in the week. They didn't go small. They were long and tall, and they played their game. San Antonio is not going to even consider it.
Yeah. Do you think they're going small?
No.
And what again? What? And I like to listen to what people don't say. So Tyrone said,
no. Explain that to me. How do you listen to what somebody doesn't say?
Because in between the comments in which they make, you can make some inferences as to what they really mean. Just like you did. You
That
just said
that was
you
pretty
just
good.
you just said several things in that comment without saying everything you wanted to say.
Oh, that boy, that's the gift that you have. You need to put it in a bottle. I tell you right now,
I
I'm
sell it
going.
every day.
I'm going. It's called bullshit. Let me stop.
Oh wow, wow. Okay, so what he said was,
Are we gonna talk about what he said or what he didn't say?
I'm gonna tell you what he said, then I'm gonna tell you what he didn't say that
Oh,
he said.
okay, okay,
Okay,
okay.
so
Please
what he
enlighten me,
said
brother.
was, we have 10 players.
Uh-huh.
We can play any style of basketball. If we have to play big, we can play big. If we have to play small, we can play small. If we have to play quick, we can play quick. And then he stopped speaking. So basically what he was saying was the last coach didn't utilize all of the talent to be able to play however we needed to play. And his matchups weren't, he was going to use different matchups. And then he went through and said, I want to have Shumpert, Deli, and Mo on the court at the same time so that I can put pressure on the defense from 3 different places on the wing with 3 ball handlers. Okay, that's what he's saying he's going to do tonight.
Mm-hmm.
Don't know how smart it is to tell your opponent beforehand what you're doing.
Well, we get ready to find out, right?
We getting ready to find out in about an hour.
Yeah, about an hour, Kev. Did you hear him say that the Kerr made adjustments, and every time they played James Jones, they attacked him. And he said Blatt didn't know how to make adjustments like that.
Right.
And it's a different game in the NBA. It's more difficult for a foreigner to come in and adjust than a college coach. And college coaches have a tremendous adjustment to make.
Right. Right.
But, but at least the successful college coaches, the players at least know who they are. They never knew who Dave Blatt was. Now, let's take a quick look at the analytical situation that's going on in one Browns way in Cleveland with the Browns now. Where are you with what they have done?
I love it.
Okay.
Because we have shown that going a traditional route does not work for us.
No argument on that.
So we have a 100% pure football guy in Hugh Jackson. And I don't know if you've heard the interviews from Sashi and Moneyball.
I have.
But, yep. And they're like, look, we're providing tools that aren't any different than what has been going on in the NFL for years. The difference is there will be different types of tools, but they're going to be tools. It's like, and he used a good example. At the combine, you go through all of the measurements of players, and then you add that data into film, and it's just more information. When you time somebody running a 40, people go, oh, well, he ran a 4.5, he ran a 4.8, he ran a 4.2. That's just data. It doesn't mean anything, but yet football folks have used that as the end all without saying, okay, let's look at some of the other things. It was like, wow, he's going to go in the first round because he ran a 4.3. Not. So the measurables are going to go beyond. They're going to take. So I like that. They're going to give them more data.
Before we go too far, I do have a question here that one of the listeners texted, and I'm going to ask you. The question was Kevin Love worth the trade?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Because we did not need another wing player that was a rookie that had to learn the game last year. I don't think we get to the finals, although Kevin Love last year, what was the Celtics series when he went out? Mm-hmm. Which was that the first round?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, because it was the Celtics, Bulls, and then the Hawks.
Right.
Yep. So, I don't know if we go on that same kind of tear at the end of the regular season that we went on with Wiggins.
I'll agree. I think it was worth the trade. Then there was another question. Kevin, I got another question from a listener, and they said, wasn't it odd that the interim coach never was an interim coach? He was given a 3-year contract from the start. They said, shouldn't he have had to prove himself?
Well, his title was associate head coach or assistant head coach.
Mm-hmm.
And as you know, they actually wanted to hire him to begin with last year as the head coach. So was it different? Could have been. I'm not sure if when Pat Riley replaced Westhead in the middle of the season, if they said you're interim coach. I don't know if when Doug Collins got replaced by Phil Jackson, if they said interim. Mm-hmm. Tyrone Lue has been in high demand, and I think that was their way of saying we want to lock you up. Now, also, David Griffith has said that the details of the contract hadn't been released. So that whole the 3 years that was been speculated, they've never confirmed that.
Never confirmed which the Tyrone
that he was
Lue?
given a 3-year that he had a 3-year deal.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so that's just almost rumors then.
Well, David Griffith said that was not the case. That no details of his contract had been released.
I had one more question that somebody said exactly why, as we've argued about it, what was the real reason for the trade? Was it Kevin Love? Was it LeBron? Was it that they think they had the wrong person in the position? What was the real reason for the trade?
For the trade or being fired?
I'm sorry for being fired.
From what I have understood from all the media sources that I've heard and read, that a number of veteran players were unhappy.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So it wasn't just Kevin Love. It wasn't just LeBron. And David Griffith observed the culture, and the final straw was being down by 43, 44 points on your home court, and you are considered as a championship team, and then losing by what, 37, 38?
Did you see the game?
I saw as much as I could take through the third quarter. When they were down by 40 something, and I turned it off.
So you made it through the first half.
Barely, right?
yeah. Kev, when they jumped out on him, I thought it wasn't going. The body language wasn't good.
Yep.
And after that, I was watching it off and on, and by halftime it was off. And for both of us who travel to support our teams from Cleveland, sometimes people don't understand. Sometimes the players don't understand. The fans who take their money and travel a great distance, pay the high ticket cost to see them play and support them, and see something like that, I'd have been very upset if I was sitting in Cleveland and saw that. I mean, you could lose, but at least act like it meant something to you.
Right, and there were for that game, a lot of people paid above and beyond face value for those tickets.
Yes, they did.
Let's take West 17 South Mount Pleasant.
Yes, they did.
Charleston.
Yes, they did. Well, we're gonna wrap this up. There's two guys from Cleveland, Mickey and Kevin, and we'll probably need to do this again relatively soon. Credell Wingate wanted to make sure that you were aware that you did lose your bet with him.
I've already handled the situation with Credell, and I appreciate it if you wouldn't talk about Pittsburgh Steelers and my deficient betting on the air like this.
So you've handled that betting situation already?
Yeah, Credell and I have an amicable arrangement.
Well, that in itself is a rarity to have an amicable arrangement with a Pittsburgh Steelers fan.
I'm speechless. I can't say anything. And I'd appreciate in my closing comments if you would stop being a Kevin Love hater. I think you will see a totally different team.
We will see.
We will see.
It's Insights. Stay tuned for our next show.
All right, bro.
All right, appreciate you.
Your attention, please.
Stay up to date with the latest from INSiiGHTS. Visit our website at INSiiGHTS.com. 2 eyes in the middle, INSiiGHTS.com.
INSiiGHTS is a copyright of Mac4 Enterprises, a Florida corporation. This broadcast is produced under the exclusive ownership of Mac4 Enterprises and is the intellectual property and trademark of Mac4 Enterprises. The comments of the host and other individual speakers on INSiiGHTS represent their independent thoughts and representation.